everybody, welcome back to Just Keep Parenting. It's been a few weeks. I've been out with a total knee replacement. I'm glad to be back and on the train again. So just wanted to touch base. We're just going to finish up our chapter in Easy to Love, Difficult to Discipline. And we've been talking about assertiveness, saying no and being heard. We're going to finish that chapter up today. And so just wanted to bring you up to speed. If you're new to our channel, you can go back and look at the other videos that we've talked about when it comes to assertiveness. And so this week I want to talk a little bit about infants, right? Because we talked about tattling and how to help teach others, right? And tattling is it's a great teaching moment that we sometimes miss as we're visiting with our children. So today I want to talk a little bit more about infants. And with infants, we have to be the people, right? We have to be their speakers. We have to be their caregivers. And so in the book, the author, Dr. Becky Bailey, talks about how she's at a grocery store and the mother has a toddler in the back of the stroller and the infant in front, and she's trying to go back and forth with the stroller because the infant is crying. And what she doesn't see is that the toddler who's in the stroller keeps hitting the infant, which is making it cry, right? And so the mother Dr. Bailey decides that she's going to help the mother out. And so she walks up, she said, "Oh my gosh, your children are so delightful." And she looks at the little toddler and until he looks at her in her eyes, and she said, "Sweetie, when you hit your sister, that's making her cry. Because when you hit her in the face, she doesn't know what to say, and so she cries, but she's hurting, and so she doesn't like it when you hit her in the face." Anyway, the mother was like so grateful because she didn't know that her toddler was hitting the infant, and she was trying to, get the infant she was trying to quiet the infant and to help her, but she didn't understand the reason that she was crying. Anyway, and so as we think about that with our infants, we have to recognize that we're the ones that are helping others know how to treat the infant, right? And so we've all seen it with little newborns and with older siblings that just love so much, right? And then sometimes they love in ways that they're trying to choke or smother them, and just being able to say to them as we look in their eyes and make sure that they're looking at us, "Your sister needs to breathe, and when you cover her mouth like that, she can't breathe, and in order for her to get air in her body, she has to have that hand move. So you need to move your hand so that she can breathe." She gives a couple more examples, right? But just making sure that we are those infants' voices in an assertive way so that we can teach the toddlers in our life, we can teach those others in our life how to treat infants, right? And then at the very end of the chapter, she talks a little bit about a checklist, right? And she said there's no time like the present to be able to focus on being assertive, right? And so she gives us a little checklist. I just want to read them off to you, right? Listen to yourself, talk to children. We've chatted about that in previous videos. Listen to yourself talk, right? Are you passive? Are you aggressive? Or are you assertive? And you're probably going to be, all three of them during different times of the day, during different times of your month. I still remember a parenting class that I was teaching, and the mother said, "I'm calling myself out." She said, "When I don't feel good, I am totally passive." And I tell my kids that. You can have cereal, you can have all the cereal you want and watch all the TV you want until I feel better. And she said the next day, the passivity is gone, right? And so she tries to help her kids understand why she's being passive and why they can do what they can do. And now we're back on the train again, right? The second one is to focus on giving children usable information, right? Not just that fluffy stuff that sometimes we say just to get them to be quiet, right? But specifically, what do they need to do, right? You need to stop hitting your sister so that she can breathe. You need to stop hitting your sister because that hurts her, right? And so we've done a video in the past called The Power of Attention, right? We focus on what we want to have happen, right? And so that's how we become more assertive, as we focus on what we want to have happen. The third thing she talks about is capturing your child's attention, right? Before we speak. Sometimes we start speaking and and they're not even listening to us. They're totally in another world, right? So that's why she talks about, making sure that you're looking at them and waiting for them to meet your eyes, and then we have a chat, right? The fourth one is if your child ignores you, right? Because they do. You say, I'm going to show you what I want you to do, right? And then guide your child to have that successful experience, because they will ignore us, right? That's part of their growth pattern, right? The next one, when you're frustrated, express your feelings directly by saying the I statements, right? I don't like it when you do this, right? Or when you hurt your sister, when you hit me, I feel, right? We do this a lot. The kids think it's funny to come and hit my bum. And you can see the teachers are like, oh, holy cow, they just hit Miss Story. And I'm like, you know what, buddy? I don't like it when you do that. That's my bum, and I don't like people to hit it. So you are welcome to go hit the pillow in the carrying area, but I don't like it when you hit my bum. And that's it, right? That's all you have to say. I see teachers who like, they don't know what to say, right? But we have to focus on that power of attention. What do we want to have happen, right? And then the last one she talks about is teach your children how to handle intrusions by other children, right? That's a big one, right? So start the interaction with the victim. And we use this a lot as I teach the teachers, because so many of us kind of do it backwards, right? We go to that perpetrator and we're like, how come you hit her? I don't know, I just did, right? There again, that's not usable information. But if we go to the victim and we say, did you like it when he hit you? Well, no, he didn't like it. He hurt me. And that's what the perpetrator needs to hear, right? That's what that person needs to hear. And so as we get them to talk about what they didn't like, then that helps the person that hit them or the person that damaged them or whatever to be able to use their words to talk to that person. So thanks for joining us today. Next week, we're going to start chapter 5, which is on choices, building self-esteem and willpower. So that's what we have to look forward to, my friends. But pass it along. If you're struggling with something, if you know somebody that if you've talked to, with that whole assertiveness, it comes and goes in our life as caregivers, as parents. But we can do a little bit better today than we did yesterday, and we might be taking one step forward. I've been doing PT, right? Feeling so great, and then it's like, holy camole, right? That's kind of how parenting is. We take 2 steps forward and we may take 1 step back, right? But at least we didn't usually take 2 steps back. So pat yourself on the back today. We talked to the young children about kissing their brain. Kiss your brain, tell it did a great job today, just listening to a video, right? And all you're going to do is just one more thing today that you can add to your parenting arsenal, right? Anyway, thanks for joining us at Just Keep Parenting, and have a great week. Make it so.